Hello, good evening, and welcome back to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Ed McCullough. Our guest is Jim Vecchia. Jim is a member of the Coastal Empire Polio Survivors Association. He's also a member of the committee for the upcoming big event, which is co-sponsored by 5 area Rotary clubs and the Coastal Empire Polio Survivors Association. The big event is Heel to Toe for Polio. That's Saturday, October 3rd. Registration at 9 a.m. and the walk begins at 10 a.m. Walk from Coligny Beach Park up to the Marriott Hotel in Palmetto Dunes and back. Funds are to benefit the Rotary Foundation in its efforts to eradicate polio from the planet. Jim, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
It's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
You yourself are a polio survivor.
Yes, I was 16 when I got polio.
You were 16.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask, what is the heel to toe? Does that have something to do with your symptoms when they...
Not really, no. It's just heel to toe is a walk. In other words,
just a walk.
Heel to toe walk. Just a plain walk. That's all
It's
it
a
is.
walk.
And that's what they named it, heel to toe. 5 Rotary clubs from the area, the Bluffton Rotary Club, Hilton Head Island Rotary Club, Okatee Rotary Club, Sunset Rotary Club, and Van Landing Rotary Club have asked us to participate in this event. Right.
And to put this event in context, the Rotary Foundation has set as its mission to eradicate polio from the face of the planet. And this is part of a challenge situation with Bill Gates.
Exactly. In 1985, the Rotary clubs decided that they were going to eradicate polio from the world, from the planet Earth. And as a result, they've been doing a fabulous job ever since. And Bill Gates came out with a offer that if the Rotary clubs raised $100 million, he would add $200 million for it.
2 for 1. You can't argue with that.
In order to help eradicate. There's 4 countries basically that are left: India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Nigeria.
Yeah, and obviously some of those you can immediately understand because of the social and political strife. It's difficult.
In Afghanistan, for example, they went over there to inoculate the children, but they wouldn't let them have it because the Taliban was saying that the serum is actually to sterilize the children.
Wow. So you have your hands full with a cultural situation.
In Nigeria, it was that it contained AIDS, the serum. So you can understand where it's very difficult.
But aside from these 4 remaining countries, which represent a minuscule portion of the world's population, the Rotary has been immensely successful in eliminating, absolutely
no
eliminating from every other country on the planet.
But the CDC in Atlanta, Center for Disease Control, just sent out a bulletin no more than 6 or 8 weeks ago, stating that here in the United States, there are over 1 million toddlers who are not immunized. 1 million. That means someone from India coming over with the virus
could start
send it to you or I. We've been immunized, or you've been immunized against it, but you can carry it, and you can pass it to somebody else who passes it on and passes it on until it starts to hit these children. And you can have an epidemic again.
We obviously don't want to have that happen. And when you say epidemic, I mean, there were epidemics in this country.
Oh, in the 50s. Late 40s, 50s was the biggest epidemic, 50, 51, 52. Salk came up with the vaccine in 1955. 54, 55, and it wasn't until really 57 when the immunization started to work and level out the amount of people getting polio.
And what year was it when you contracted polio?
1950.
1950. And if you don't mind describing the onset of symptoms, how did you first come to understand
Well, basically it was a Saturday. It was December the 1st, which is unusual because polio is usually a summer disease. And I got it December the 1st. I woke up that morning, didn't feel right, something was wrong, and by Monday, a doctor came, Saturday night, my parents called the doctor. He said I had a sprained back, because I had played a basketball game the night before. And he said I had a sprained back, and gave my mother some pills to take, and basically that was it. And Sunday wasn't much better. I woke up Monday, and I couldn't lift my head off the pillow. I was like a board, as if I was nailed to a 2x4. And of course, then you went through the rehabilitating. I was in the hospital for a year, full year, and came out and then led productive life like all us other polio survivors. We all became type A. We weren't going to let anything beat us down, you know.
Yeah, it almost became like a
It became an
group
obsession with you almost that you were going to.
that-
Now, the group I belong to, the Coastal Empire Polio Survivors Association, has been the greatest thing that ever happened to me. I came down here 11, 12 years ago, and a little ad in the paper, my wife said, why don't you call? I said, what do I need a support group for?
Yeah.
You know, for 40, 50 years, I haven't had support. What do I need one now for?
Sure,
You know?
sure.
But unfortunately, what's happening with us now is we're all starting to suffer from post-polio syndrome.
And what are some of those
Okay,
symptoms?
fatigue, muscle loss, just losing strength every day. It's a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, and pretty soon what's happening is the muscles took over for muscles that were dead.
Yeah.
So they were working twice as hard. Well, now these muscles are breaking down. They can't do it anymore. Okay.
You know, I have to, putting this in a historical perspective, just the fact that you guys are survivors at this point, because obviously from those epidemics back in the 40s and 50s, so many of those kids that were afflicted didn't make it, or even those who did succumbed at some later point. I mean, just the fact that you guys are hanging out, you have to almost say to yourselves, okay, this is a fairly special group at this point.
Well, what it is the Post-Polio International group, okay? They came up with a "We're Still Here" slogan. And as a result of that, many of the surviving groups around the country were all pushing this "We're Still Here," and we're trying to educate the polio survivors that aren't among our groups. Like, we do a tremendous job. We have a great people that, I mean, I've never met more caring people in my life. We seek out. That's the main reason why we're in this also with the Rotary
Try and
clubs.
find some other
Seek out.
survivors
We're
who
going to
might
have
come out
literature
for the
there.
event.
We're going to have all kinds of literature there. People that had polio don't know what's happening to them now.
Now, typically, those folks that had polio in the 40s and 50s, we're talking folks that are typically in their late 60s, 70s.
Well, no, because many in my group, which I was surprised at too, learning, actually, they were babies. They were less than a year old.
For some reason, I always think of like a 10-year-old or a 12-year-old.
I was the same way when I came down. Matter of fact, the first lady I spoke with, young lady Cheryl, she mentioned to me, we were talking for quite a while, and I said, can I ask you how old you are? And she said she was 56 or something. I said, 56? I said, the vaccine, she says, no, she says, I was 2 years old when I got it.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So I never realized that, in fact, because the hospital that I went to was run by nuns. It was a Catholic hospital, St. Charles Hospital in Port Jefferson, New York. And if you were under 5, they wouldn't take you, or over 16. You had to be between 5 and 16. 40 boys, 40 girls.
Yeah.
And so, because they didn't want to deal with
So
babies,
you
infants.
developed something of a concept of who got this disease,
Exactly.
because that's who you
Because
hung out
that's
with
who I
for
knew. That's the people I knew, exactly.
you say over a year, a little bit over a year?
I was in the
you were-
hospital for a year, almost exactly. I went in December the 2nd. I was discharged November for Thanksgiving.
And you described the onset of the disease where you're laying in bed and you're like a board. You can't really move a muscle. You can't lift your head off the pillow.
I wasn't able to, no.
What was the treatment? What was the
Well,
therapy?
first they have to, what they call is stretch you out, is get you so you can move your body, okay? Then after that, it was just electrotherapy on the muscles. It was constant repetition of, trying to build that muscle back, or the muscles that weren't.
So lots of physical therapy.
A lot of
and
physical therapy.
stimulation
A lot
and
of physical
massage and
therapy.
things of that nature.
Well, not so much massage, but basically stimulation and getting this work. See, because once those muscles are dead, they're gone. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it. The neurons leading to those muscles
Yeah.
that make them work, they're
You
gone.
got to keep those neurons
So what they
firing.
do is they try to make other muscles take up the slack for those muscles, which they did. So, I mean, even though I wasn't perfect, I couldn't run anymore or anything, but I still led a productive life. I mean, as far as that goes, I married children, grandchildren, the whole bit.
And aside from the physical symptoms, and we only have about a minute left, when you take a look around at the other members of your group of survivors, the guys that did in fact work their way through this and are still hanging out,
Exactly.
is there some indefinable something
Oh,
about
yeah.
those
Oh,
guys
certainly
where
are.
you say,
You can look
they
at some
really
and
are.
they had polio. We have a wonderful lady. She's got double leg braces her whole life. She got it when she was less than 2 years old. She's been on double leg braces her whole life. We're trying to get people now to move to scooters and power chairs because they need it, but they don't realize they need it. So our motto is conserve to preserve.
So we're out of time, but a wide range of symptoms, but something in common.
Absolutely.
These guys were determined
Absolutely.
to beat it.
That's the bond that we have,
Yeah.
all of us together.
That is so great. Thanks so much
Thank
for
you
coming
very
by.
much for the interview.
We will see you out there on the beach in October.
October 3rd.
We have been speaking with Jim Vecchia. He is a member of the Coastal Empire Polio Survivors Association. He's a member of the committee for the upcoming big event at Coligny Beach. It's co-sponsored by 5 area Rotary clubs. It's co-sponsored by the Coastal Empire Polio Survivors Association. It is called Heel to Toe for Polio. Heel to Toe for Polio, Saturday, October 3rd. The registration begins at 9 a.m. at the beach at Coligny. The walk starts at 10 a.m. and goes up to the Marriott Hotel in Palmetto Dunes and back. I'm Ed McCullough. This is Talk of the Town. Thanks for